We got another list for you guys because, we love lists on this podcast. And Hoopshype dropped the list of the best 24 centers in the NBA. One name was excluded, and that was Jalen Duren. Doesn't surprise me, though. His rookie season was great to good, depending on who you ask. If you ask me, it was a good offseason with a lot of flashes of potential. It was a good season with a lot of flashes of potential. I would like to know what the criteria is for the list, and I want to know why Hoopshype didn't throw on Anthony Davis, because I know people think he plays power forward, but according to Basketball Reference, all 1,900 minutes of his last season were played at the center position. So I don't know why they left Anthony Davis on there. And I know what we're going to talk about here in a second, but I'm going to beat you to the punch, Anthony. Why do they have Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren on the list at 6 and 14 when they have not played a single NBA minute?
So let me look at the list, because I know I put it in the prep sheet, but I haven't actually looked at the full list. So let me skim through it real quick. Doesn't surprise me.
I mean, it's a solid list of centers, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the as I'm just scrolling, I think Walker Kessler should be higher. That's just me, but Yoka Pert, come on, he just lost credibility putting Yoka Pertl in there. Chet Holmgren, see, I don't get mad at Chet Holmgren being in this list. I would be mad if he was top 10 or top 5. You can put someone in a list if they haven't played NBA minutes, and you're explaining that, okay, he had a really good summer league and we think he can do this. But if you put when we see Bleacher Report put Victor Wembanyama number 1, then that's where it's just yeah, dude, come on, stop it.
Have you looked at the list all the way? Because he's number 6.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm still looking. He's not better than Rudy Gobert yet. Yeah, Victor Wembanyama at 6 is crazy to me. It really is. He's not a top 10 center in the NBA.
Just not yet. He could be, but he's not yet. And they don't have Anthony Davis on the list, bro. I don't understand that.
Yeah, so this list, I don't get how you have Domantas Sabonis, who plays power forward, not center, but you don't have Anthony Davis, to your point. I think Victor Wembanyama at 6 is a fucking joke, by the way, and I love Hoopshype. Hoopshype is one of my favorite basketball websites to read articles or to get news. I love Hoopshype, but they're tripping on this. They're absolutely tripping.
I love Hoopshype. I used to be a contributor when I was 12, 13 years old on their forums. I loved their forums pages. They were the best, in my opinion, for basketball discussion, dude. I loved Hoopshype. I still love Hoopshype. Dude, I was kind of shocked, though, at Miles Turner, man. The season he had last year, I did not know. He had an 18-8 with 2 blocks. Dude, he had a great it's a solid season, man.
He carried my fantasy team last year. I could count on him for a couple blocks, some threes, and some rebounds. Miles Turner is goated in terms of fantasy basketball. Love me some Miles Turner. But with that list, I don't think that I like Wendell Carter Jr., who I think is a really great player. I probably would have had him a little bit higher on the list, but you can't tell me that Jalen Duren is not a top 24 center right now with the season he had. I just have a hard time, when I'm looking at the players on this list, man, it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Yes, he didn't play all the games that he started. Yes, he did hit kind of a rookie wall later in the season, but even Steven Adams at 24 kind of seems disrespectful. Yeah, even though he doesn't put up the stats that he used to, he's still one of the best centers, in my opinion, that can set a pick. He's probably one of the most elite when you're just talking about pick and roll. Steven Adams is probably one of the best in the NBA. Steven Adams at 24, to me, I think is kind of a joke. Al Horford at 23, really, the season he had with the Boston Celtics, I don't get that. Robert Williams.
You think it's too high to Celtics?
I think Al Horford should at least be a top 15 center in the discussion. I don't get it.
And I agree. That's why I was wondering about the criteria, because Al Horford contributes to winning. Steven Adams makes the Memphis Grizzlies a much better team when he's on the floor. The only reason I would say I'm I'm not disappointed that Duren didn't make the list because it was an 8-8 season. You know, I mean, if he didn't, it was fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. Like I love Duren, man, and it's just like Walker Kessler, he stood out defensively as a shot blocker. You know, he was, I think, 4th in the NBA, and I think he shot like 72% around the rim. He was a lead in 2 categories, being touch around the rim and shot blocking. Duren did not. He provided good percentages and he intimidated a few people, but in my opinion, he really wasn't elite in any one area. So I could see why they excluded him. But I am with you. I think he's one of the 24 best centers because there are guys. If you look at this list and you say, yeah, I would take Jalen Duren over this guy, then he's a top 24 center. You know, there are guys on this list where I'm like, I want to take them over Jalen Duren.
Like Kevon Looney, for example. He's at 21. Okay. I love me some Kevon Looney. You know that?
Yeah.
But he averaged 7 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists a game. When he shot 63% from the field.
He did play all 2 games.
Yeah, he did. But I would put Jalen Duren at 21.
I would even move everybody up and have him at least 24. You know, I mean, I guess the thing with Kevon Looney is, how good would he be on any other team? Is he just a good player in the Warriors system? But then if that's the case, then why is he on this list? Because I feel like the other guys, you could say they could be on any team and still contribute, but I don't know if you could really say the same thing about Kevon Looney.
Kevon Looney could contribute wherever he goes, but it's like that's my whole reason with the list. I'm not calling for Jalen Duren to be top 10 or anything like that. I'm not. But like you're saying to me that you don't believe that Jalen Duren isn't a top 21 center in the NBA. Like if the roles were reversed and Jalen Duren was in Golden State, he probably would put up the same stats, if not more. You know?
Yeah.
No disrespect to Kevon Looney. Excellent basketball player. Perfect glue guy for the Golden State Warriors. But, like, come on, man. Like, some of these lists, man, I just look at it, and it actually pisses me off as a basketball fan. I've posted some of them on Facebook, and they've gone viral. Like, there was one where Victor Wembanyama was, like, number 1, and people are like, bro, how? Hasn't even played a game yet.
And that's why I think giving the criteria for making these lists is so important. And I just want to point out Robert Williams. I love Time Lord. I think he's a good defender. He's not much of more of a shot blocker, not really a guy that can switch or anything like that. But and he's very limited offensively. He only played 35 games. Jalen Duren, he played over 60. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the argument I would make. I'm not taking a center, and I wouldn't say he's one of the 24 best if he only plays 35 games a season. And Robert Williams has been hurt quite a bit in the NBA. Like, he's not a healthy player. So, but he's only giving you 8 and 8, and then you just traded him too. So Boston probably viewed him a little bit lower than, you know, maybe Hoopshype does on their list. I don't know. I agree with you. I do think Duren is a top 24 center, and I think you can make a case for him over a handful of these guys on this list.